So here is the final level I made, or at least the outside of it. I reused my fourth level, but I added some more, specifically this structure over here. You'll get to see the inside of that a little later. But each area basically focuses on some of the things we work through each week. And or there are also just instances of stuff that we've worked on throughout the whole thing, such as tutorial text goes throughout. Certain doors have keys to them. Some areas have action group cameras and buttons. There's a character switcher. There is pane volumes. There's floating platforms, moving platforms, platforming. The puzzles are mostly movement based, such as finding things and basically noticing different areas and maneuvering through mazes, rather than your typical like move something and get it in someplace. I wanted to go with something a little different, but here is the whole area. So starting off, we have this room, which is using a kind of dark lighting. We have the one guard AI, and unfortunately, due to the recording equipment I have, I can't show you the blueprints, but I can talk through them, because I can see them, you just can't, because weird things. But basically, it's the guard AI that we went through in class, where event begin play, we're setting the AI controller and getting it, and we're attaching it to the self, and then we're telling it to set the current target destination for where it is. And then on every event tech, we're moving the location. The destination will be target destination, and target destination basically is set by waypoints. And we're getting them from an array, and it changes every time the event tick happens. We go up a number in the waypoint counter, and then basically as long as it's less than or equal to the number of waypoints we have, everything's good. And then if that condition is then falsified, it sets the waypoints back to 0. And then right at the very end, after we get the waypoint we want, it gets the actor's location, and then it tells it to it sets that point to the waypoint as the next place to go to. So that's that, and I know you all just got to stare at this thing for, like a minute and a half. So here's an example of one of the keys. And for this guy right here, I set him to have a pretty narrow cone of vision, kind of more a Metal Gear-esque cone of vision. And the waypoints are just kind of these things scattered around. And he goes through those. He has a 2-second delay at each one. Final door goes to the final room right here. Having some performance issues, and I didn't start having these until I started recording, so that's kind of weird. Some things I had problems with just throughout this entire class was timeline, and there's nothing timeline related in this. I'm gonna be experimenting with it on my own time, but it wasn't timeline itself that gave me issues. It was just the way I designed levels. I couldn't find uses for it, and not only that, but I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted, such as with this door right here. If I'd wanted to have that, it could only have been one not even a door, or I use separating doors, but not even a door. It would have just been a sliding wall, and I just couldn't get those to work the way I wanted them to either. There was a lot more involved than I wanted there to be, and for the sake of making a nice, pretty level, I would have rather had the way I've done it here. And again, that's on me. I'm like I said, I'm going to continue working with it outside of the class. Try and get better with it. I also didn't include flickering lights, although I did include some lights in general and different types of lights. And the main reason for that is performance. I've been doing all of this on a laptop until basically the day I'm recording this. I haven't had access to my actual PC, and I've been really busy and really sick. So that took a lot of my time. So I've had a lot of performance requirements I've had to meet with all of this. I'm amazed it's running this well with all of the smoke effects I'm using. The smoke effect, to be specific, is this room. It's meant to kind of simulate gas that's being filtered in, and basically I'm using a pain volume to decrease the player's health when they go in. So I took the lessons we learned in class on the enemy AI and applied those to the player. So what I'm doing is I have a variable integer HP, which is just a public variable which I've set to 100, and then from there we're subtracting at every time there is a damage occurring, it's subtracting that much damage from the HP, setting it as the new HP, and from there we have a branch, and what it says is if the HP is less than or equal to 0, destroy active. I also have a second branch where if it registers that the HP is less than or equal to 50, it will print the string, hey, you're at half health. And I had another one, but I got rid of this just because it wasn't working the way I wanted it to, where it was saying, hey, you have 20 seconds left. I couldn't get the HP to reset to full. I wasn't sure how to do that. Get it to reset to full after I died and respawned. Every time I would respawn, even no matter what I tried, HP would still remain at basically 1, and the second I entered the pain volume area, I instantly died rather than getting my HP and having time. I'll show that all off later. So we have the matinees here, and it's fantastic. I use the matinees a whole lot throughout the whole level with all the doors and with all the moving platforms. And this is the character switcher over here, which basically we're just unpossessing and then repossessing this character. And that's that basically. We have texture camera, or material camera, where it's showing off the next room, which is meant to look like kind of like from episode 4 of Star Wars, if anyone knows the exact room I'm talking about, where Leia and Luke basically swing across this big opening. I wanted something that looked kind of like that, and the idea is to make it look like that. So you have to maneuver yourself and get a key that's on the very far end there that you can see, and not fall off to your death, because there is a death volume that basically stretches this entire map here, and the second you enter this volume range, you die, and it intersects right around here, and it's very dark in this room, which is meant to make it a little bit harder to move around. Then there are respawn points, which are basically checkpoints. Whenever you hit them, it saves that target location, and for our respawner, basically at that target location, it will create a new third-person character actor, and then we just possess that character actor itself. I didn't realize how disorienting that would be when I was doing it. Oh, to give this room light, instead of putting a whole bunch of lights, overhead lights, I used a skylight to give the room just in general more dimension, and it gave this really nice effect to the gas, whereas there is light, but the gas is affecting it in a way where it's just it just makes it look really cool, and it's really disorienting. And to get over problems I had with lighting in this room, because of how big it was and because I didn't want to add too many more lights, again, due to problems, I set up a skylight, and then I also set up a glass roof. So instead of cutting out a whole bunch more, I just decided to make the material translucent, and I made it glass on both ends. This gave it a nice bright light that allowed the player, that is, to see the camera. And then there's the hidden button. The hidden button uses a director, camera, and matinee to move this wall, which leads into this dark, secret, hidden room to grab this orb, which is a key. So that's everything I think I need to show off in terms. These are tutorial text boxes. Let me just do a quick run through. Talked about the pain volume, which I can actually open and show you. It's set to 2 damage per second. The pain interval, I was using water volume at one point, but the swimming, quote unquote, wasn't working the way I thought it would. I thought it was just going to slow the player down, and it did, but if you jumped in the air before you hit it, you just kind of walked in the air. And that wasn't what I wanted. And then I also set the spheres to only be collectible by the hero, in case for whatever reason my guard AIs hit one of the sphere keys for whatever reason. And basically, I found that the best way to do this and the best way to get it to work as a whole was to go into the blueprint editor and then go to just the object parent and then add the tag hero. So as long as it has that tag, even on respawn, it'll work. Everything will work. So let's go ahead and show that off really quick. So here we are, we're gold and shiny. We're going to jump off and respawn. And hey, we respawned right here. And just to show that it still works, I really quickly. Oh yeah, that's right. So since I've already respawned, health is set back to 0. Again, I don't know why that's happening, but it does. And that's really frustrating. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens while you're in this room. I'm going to go ahead and wait for the trigger that I set up for the health to happen. And this room is it's not huge, but it's big, and it's big enough to where it can get disorienting if you move the mouse too quick. So now we're at half health, and it's registering that. So let's go ahead and go back here. So we go through the doors, and we're in this room. And then you get prompted to click the left mouse button because there's a big wall of water that you can't go through. You click and wow, you're suddenly here. If you run back, that same wall of water, you're on the other side. This is supposed to represent being a robot. I didn't add any camera effects this time. Again, just due to performance issues as I had last time. So you run up here and you're like, hey, that's that room. Or that's a room, really, rather. And kind of walk around and, oh, hey, there's a big, oh, press E. And it takes you to that camera. It goes back. Awesome. Cool. Let's see if we can get back there before it starts going up. Okay. Still having that weird glitch where you kind of sink in a little bit. Ah. Oh yeah, wow, I missed that tutorial trigger. There is a tutorial trigger explaining what you need to do for this room, but apparently I missed it. The first time going through anyway. Whoop. So we got that. And this guy here is set to have the hero tag as well. Again, this is so that he is able to do all the things. Oh, yeah. And it tells you to click the left mouse button here as well. And that's the area you can return. So here we are. Be very careful. I was originally intending to use the physics thing here, where basically you'd be walking along and then all of a sudden, the second you stepped on part of this, a bunch of stuff would drop, but I was afraid that if that happened, A, I'd have a whole lot more performance problems, and B, I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to land properly on these because of some weird glitch where you would land instead on something, one of the ones that fell, and then you'd automatically fall off, and I didn't want that to happen. So we'll go ahead and run this way. Boop. I fell. That sucks. But you all got to see me respawn there. So that's good at least. I'm no longer golden. Boop. There we go, okay. I was really proud of this stairway. I struggled with making them before, like an actual stairway that looked nice, and I got it to look nice this time, and I was really happy. So just because we can, we're going to just kind of sit... Oh! Was that him? Yeah, that's him, right there. Oh, there was a weird... That's a weird glitch right there. So he's just running around, being derpy. Hey, derp derp. Whoop. What? What? Oh, it might, Is that another problem? That's another problem, okay. Well, really quick, let me just show you. This is something I didn't know would occur. We've got the last one. We run back through. And this was a locked door he needed the key for. So he's supposed to see us, but I'm thinking because of our respawn, it didn't work. And it says, congratulations, you are now a video game designer. Yay! Ended the level! So let me try something really quick. Because there was some weirdness there. So let's just go ahead and set this to just open automatically for us, just so we can get through quickly. It's a nice thing with public variables. You can change them on the fly, and you don't have to worry at all. That's weird. Let's play real quick. Also, the really cool thing about this level itself is I made it modular, and I'll go over that when I get back outside. Right there. As a bonus for getting through this level with your standard color, which is gold, there's nothing, it doesn't say anything, I just think it's really cool if you finish the level while you're gold. He runs all the way around here. So he is supposed to follow me. But he is not, for whatever reason. That is annoying. Hold on. Because he is set to follow me. Let's go back to edit blueprint. I know this is taking up way more time, but I want to do it while I'm doing this demonstration to show that I have at least an understanding. So guard AI, I mean, I set it to follow. Okay, it's down here. That's where it is. On C pawn, get actor location, project point to navigation, nav data, set as yeah. Okay, that's just really strange. Is there some... He did it before. That's really weird. Maybe it had something to do with the fact that I changed it. He was doing it before. I had a really weird problem, and I'll go ahead and actually show off that problem in the viewport. So he is facing backwards. And what I mean by that is when I'm going to compile and save. This is with him facing forward. We're going to go ahead and, so you see his cone is facing behind him, but, and this is where stuff gets silly, he moves backwards. I have no idea what's causing that, and it's so hilarious and funny, and I love it. He's moonwalking. He's Michael Jackson. He's the best. He's the greatest. He's Thriller. All right, so we're done with that now. But that's what's going on, and it was working when I had him set this way, and then when I took him off that, I guess it stopped working. So we're just gonna go ahead and save that real quick. But what I meant earlier when I said this world is module is this. Basically, it's made using, the entirety is made using, except for that stairwell, 3 pieces of geometry that have just been changed over and over and over again. The first one is just a standard cube, and sorry about that. The second one is a hollowed out, well, it's also, the first one is a hollowed out cube, sorry about that. The second one is a hollowed out cylinder, and the third one is just a cube that is a subtraction instead of addition. And that's it. That's all this level is made out of. And there, I've just copy and pasted everything. And then I've made doors and so on and so forth throughout the whole thing. And that's it. All right, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.